The world is dead, barren and frozen over. We're amongst the last to live, yet we stare death in the face. Also, the guy they put in charge is me, which was a big mistake. For every law signed and decision made can determine whether we die to the frost or live another day, be it child labor, propaganda or public execution. We left London and now it is up to me to make sure this city prospers. The most important thing to ensuring our continued survival is the furnace at the center of our city. This coal-chugging baby ensures that our citizens are hot. We need to keep it running, so we best start collecting coal from some deposits. To be able to use buildings, we need roads. For roads, we need wood, and most importantly, to collect and produce anything, we need people. After securing the base resources, we soon signed the first law, emergency shifts. This allows us to ignore our workers' needs and force them to work a 24-hour shift. And it came in handy right away, since we didn't have a single lump of coal. After providing some more shelter for our people, we concentrated on gathering more resources. Unfortunately, people have this awful habit of needing to eat, so to make sure that our workers don't starve before they finish excavating, we needed to construct a cookhouse and a hunter's hut. It wasn't really the most efficient method of gathering food, but for now it would keep the livestock fed. As more homes were constructed and the city grew ever so slightly, it was time to pass a new law. Let's do child labor. With the children now having a purpose in their lives, our economy was only going to profit. Yet some citizens wanted more laborers, people from the convoy that we left behind, to join us. So we needed to construct a beacon which would help find us points of interest and allow us to send scouts out into the frost. But before we could begin construction of the beacon, tragedy struck. One of the proud workers has died while doing his duty. This, of course, begged the question, what will we do with the dead? Some, especially family members of the deceased, wished for a graveyard, but that would be too inefficient, so we started digging a pit, a corpse pit, which was actually pretty well timed because someone died of being overworked shortly after. With beacon constructed, it was time to find the people we left behind and return them home. So we created a scout unit and sent them out to find them. And with our people found, we gained some much needed resources and, more importantly, more workers. And while it was very tempting to send them back on their own, I decided to escort them back. Now that we have a greater workforce and, more importantly, the ability to explore the surrounding area, the city was sure to flourish. Only problem was that we ran out of food, all of it. And with many new mouths to feed, I would not be able to solve this issue quickly. But that's a problem for future Luke. Soon, something interesting happened. We have a lot of sick people, and sometimes to save their lives, we need to amputate. Yet, one person wanted to keep their leg, which in turn meant they'd die. Since I am a kind ruler who wouldn't force his will upon anyone, I decided to let him keep his leg. He died a slow and agonizing death. After a while, our scouts made a big discovery, an automaton that was keeping a bridge intact. We immediately repurposed it to serve our needs and sent it to the city. Why does it say sever? Speaking of the city, we were starting to grow our industry quite a bit, with the coal thumper being the first of many necessary industrial advancements that would help us stay alive. In addition to that, we built a sawmill and some steelworks. We also began building proper coal mines. This would at least secure our resource stockpile for a while. Things were looking up as the economy started to really improve and our needs were mostly covered. But as all good things do, it had to come to an end. One expedition revealed that a nearby city, Winterhome, had fallen, consumed by its own discontent. These news didn't sit well with our people and unrest started to rise. We had to make a decision that would pave our way into the future, do what we must to maintain order and discipline, or embrace faith and spiritual strength. I will now give you a quick moment to guess where we're headed. Let order be our doctrine. With our path chosen, we had to establish the foundation of our rule. It all started with the neighborhood watch. We needed to do our best to increase hope so that we may discourage as many people as possible from returning to London. Those who wanted to return aptly named themselves Londoners. Very creative, guys. Despite these dissidents risking tearing the city apart, we still remained steadfast in our ways, improving day by day. To ensure that we keep the people's hopes up, we started constructing watchtowers that allowed us to employ workers into the neighborhood watch. These honorable citizens would keep the streets safe, and the usefulness of the watch was quickly proven as they had saved a child from certain doom. Despite my efforts, however, I have made a grave mistake. I had promised the people's homes to be heated, and while I achieved that goal, my peanut brain turned off the let him cook switch in the generator, which caused our hope to fall to 0. Oh. Oops, shouldn't have done that. I quickly saved the game and decided to improve conditions. How to best accomplish that? By ensuring that a force of loyal enforcers watches over everything, which eventually stabilized hope somewhat. Holy shit. I'm awesome. Among all that was currently burdening the city, another significant issue started to take hold. The scouts kept bringing more and more new workers into the city, which in turn required more resources, amongst which heat was one of the more subtly lacking ones. The lack of heat caused more and more people to get sick, for which I was extremely unequipped to deal with. While trying to keep the heat up to make sure that less people get sick, I turned the furnace into overdrive, which I almost forgot to turn off. Oh my god. Oh, that was close. Yet, more people get sick, more people can't work. This is starting to create a problem since we need many hands to keep the coal coming. So, it was time to send the children. And in order to ensure that no one questions our righteous authority, we needed to construct a propaganda center. For the good of the city, of course. And finally, after careful distribution of the right knowledge, it was time to ensure our future with the new order. Finally, the citizens know only order and discipline, and those that oppose the new order pay the price. And with our newfound absolute authority, it was time to make an example of our enemies.